Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about the experts who made their way to the set in season 15, episode reunion part 2, to get their takes on what finally happened and their final analysis on the couples this season. First up was Mitch and Ben to the set. Welcome by Kevin Frazier.
And immediately, they started off with Mitch. Mitch said that he had a panic attack throughout this whole situation,
Freaked out by
and
it.
and he was freaked out by the process, and as a result, he's awkward with his words, and he said some really stupid things. I didn't mean he's stupid, but he said some stupid things as it relates to Kristen, as it relates to how she looks, whether he's attracted to her or not, whether she wants to make a life flipping houses or not. He always had something not too pleasant, i.e., stupid to say.
Yeah, i.e., those moments where he inserts his foot into his mouth
Right.
and still tries to speak. He described himself as having a laundry list of things that he did wrong,
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah, well, he didn't want anybody to press in on him, go in on him hard, so he just tried to admit everything that he did wrong early and often, so they don't go in.
Yeah, but to me, that was cover excuse for uh, people not being able to focus on the fact that he really wasn't there to begin with.
No,
In an effort to legitimately be married, he
because
did he
Kristen
did it
was
for some other
right.
reasons.
He showed up on the show for another reason. The experts said they were fooled because he was. They said he was.
Disingenuous.
No, they said they had a particular term for him. He was oppositional and defiant. That's what they described him as, and as a result, we saw that meltdown regarding the shirt, which was a joke the ladies tried to play on their husbands, and how he had a meltdown just putting on a shirt
Right, because he in
because he
his mind.
didn't want to be told what to do.
Right. To me, he was the oldest person or oldest cast member on the set this year, right?
Right,
41. Okay, he acted like he was 21.
right,
Okay,
right.
and as far as I'm concerned, he and or his representative was complicit in presenting a false sense of false reality as it relates to Mitch, and basically wasting our time
Well,
as
he
viewers.
he said he wished he played it cool. He wished he never made any comments about being attracted to Kristen, or whether she was an attractive woman.
Based on the
He's
conversation that he had with his sister,
uh-huh.
with
Yeah,
with Kristen's sister,
he forgot about that.
right?
He said he lashed out because sometimes he felt like he was being attacked, and
Well, I wonder why. I wonder why. When you make stupid statements like that, what do you think is going to happen in the
and
way of reactions?
he said that for all intents and purposes, he didn't realize that he was so walled off from reality.
Cray cray, y'all.
This dude right here.
He's a piece of
So
work, like you said, like you
so
said
I
previously.
imagine when he filled out the evaluation to be on this show, Dr. Schwartz did mention that he was oppositional and defiant, and that they missed that. So
So
in
they
their
owned up to that. They
evaluation,
even took responsibility,
but
didn't they?
even in their evaluation, he deceived them by hiding those character flaws that he had that manifested themselves even more on the show.
Yeah, but you know what though? There were a couple of cast members who caught it right out.
Hmm. But the experts have some blame in this for me,
I agree 100%.
because some of the people they matched clearly um, didn't vibe well together,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you can just leave if you recognize that your person is not there, but they wanted everyone to go through the process. Hence, Ben and Morgan, they're showing us them arguing over the same thing over and over again. I think for 3, 4, 5 weeks,
Hmm.
when they could have cut and run in week 2. I mean, just because we had to see her be cruel to this man for no good reason. It's like watching a boxer fight in a ring, and the other one is just beating the heck out of the other one, and the referee doesn't stop the match until the guy's down on the floor. He is now concussed and he's bleeding from, he has a
All the
head injury.
punishment, all the punishment.
Right. We
Hmm.
didn't have to see that display that Morgan rendered to Ben.
I agree with that.
It was unnecessary. So
Hmm.
when they go to Ben, he talks about how sorry he was, that he shared stuff, the mistakes he made, and
Hmm.
Dr. Carl had to tell him, "Hey, brother, hold up. You've apologized enough. Leave some of that for your self-esteem."
Hmm.
Because it seemed like all this apology tour he's going on, he needs to leave some of that to contain his self-esteem.
Yeah, and if I can remember correctly, it seemed like Pastor Cal had a couple of pieces of advice, one each for not only Mitch but also for Ben as well.
Yeah.
He basically encouraged Mitch to, you know,
Stop thinking like he's an outsider,
right
because
and
no one in the cast, no one in the crew treated him like an outsider. So stop thinking that, because you're not.
right, and it's okay to be a
A
real
real person. He
person.
could just be a regular dude. It's
Exactly.
okay. We give you permission to do
Right.
that.
And in the case of Ben, if I'm remembering correctly, he said, "Ben, it's okay for you to be
Yes.
imperfect."
And then that's when Mitch piped up and said, "Oh, Ben can start hanging out with him."
No, don't do Ben, don't do that.
Don't do it, brother.
No, no,
No,
no,
no,
no.
no, no.
Hell no.
Pastor Carl was upset that Mitch treated Kristen the way that he did, feeling that he needed to protect her like a father in some way, because Mitch wasn't very pleasant to Kristen in this thing at all. So we recognize that Kristen may have received some harsh behavior from Mitch throughout this show.
Yeah, he also said that if and this is me translating, okay? But he also felt the need, and when I say he, I'm talking about Pastor Cal said to smack Mitch on the back of his head, upside the
Uh
back of
huh.
his head.
Uh huh.
And yeah, that would have been funny to see if he realized that Mitch was not being true and sincere about in the process, and that he was there maybe for some other reason, and that he could see the effort, a genuine effort being made on the part of Kristen to make this marriage work, but that same kind of commitment was not coming from or reciprocated from Mitch.
Mm-hmm. And when they talked to Morgan, Morgan said that she was in therapy. She's learning not to be reactive, but to
Hmm.
be more on the
Logical,
logical
yeah,
side of stuff.
right.
And she is learning that valuable lesson. When asked if she thought she left too early, when Pastor Carl asked her that, she said maybe she did, but she just felt a sense of betrayal
Hmm.
with Ben, and she thought that it was time to roll out.
Yeah, Pastor Cal said that he was pretty proud of how she had evolved. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And he also had, I think was it Dr. Pepper had a really insightful comment about Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she said that Mitch didn't get his imaginary woman because
Before
he
he
had
said that,
something an image in his
he
head,
had something in his head, but
and Kristen didn't meet that.
before he said that she thought she had a great wedding, but when she
Went
watched
back and watched the back.
Mitch talking about it, she was very disappointed and hurt as a result of
Yeah,
it.
so she kind of felt like
Mitch was
no, it's
really
different. They were two
foul.
different.
Mitch was really foul. He talked about how she looked. He talked about being attracted to her mother. He talked about she was not the kind of natural girl he wanted. And
Yeah, and
remember
he even
that
said something.
Pastor Cal said maybe if they tossed her hair, put on a burlap sack,
Yeah, he
and
was
her
being
bare
facetious. Yeah,
feet, he would have dealt with her
yeah,
differently.
and he even went so far as to say something that I thought was well beyond peculiar or strange. I kind of felt like it was stupid and superficial. But he said that at their wedding ceremony after they had taken their vows, um, Kristen, when she removed her shoes, actually became more attractive
More
to him.
attracted to him.
I was like, man, what are you smoking? You know what I mean?
Well,
Really? Really? Is that where you're
Well,
going with it?
well, a girl will need her shoes to go into his filthy apartment. That's all I'm gonna say about
She
that.
better have some latex gloves too
Uh,
when you look at his stove and all that kind of stuff.
and
You
God
don't
forbid she better not sleep there either, because there's something else in the bed there with them.
waiting on her. Pastor Cal said that he felt like and he really believed that Kristen enhanced Mitch's life.
She absolutely did.
But what they didn't say is
Is it whether he enhanced hers, and that will be
exactly.
a
So
no.
they kind of when I say they, I'm talking about the experts, Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper, kind of dropped that ball because I felt like they should have also said the other part of that
He,
component
he didn't
to the
enhance her
question.
life.
Right,
Trust and believe.
right. He did not. He couldn't have enhanced her life. He brought her down and basically admitted as such.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that was covered to kind of deflect for all the criticism and smoke he knew he was going to be on the wrong end of.
Right. And when Dr. Pepper asked Morgan whether she could have given Ben a little more grace because they were in this intense situation, she said no, because Ben betrayed her. Uh, she wasn't about to give anybody grace who betrayed her.
Right, right. But
She,
at the same time, did she ever consider the fact that maybe um, she might need Ben's grace too because she had violated the same rule or something that the
no,
same standard that she had held him to?
no, 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 she's
Nah,
not.
that went over her head
Um,
probably.
Dr. House says that she may have been able to glean a little bit more how to deal with people had she stayed longer. She
Hmm.
said it was disappointing that she left early, but it is what it is.
In other words, she sidestepped the question.
Of course. Then Justin and Alexis came through, and Dr. Pepper and
Cal.
Cal,
Hmm.
for some reason, believed that these people were well matched and they could stay together.
On what planet?
I have no idea.
Not this one.
Because the way Kevin and they were pressing them to, they're good for each other and time and all that other
And
stuff.
is there a possibility of reconciliation between the two at some point down
I
the
I
line?
just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. Maybe it's there, but I missed them because I maybe have a different opinion.
Could never seem to get that. And I think Pastor Cal said that the reason why they were failing is because they didn't have a foundation.
Didn't have a foundation, and
Right.
when a whole lot of ish came to them, they
They
knew
didn't they didn't have
they
the
knew
tools.
too much about each other, and they didn't build a foundation,
Right.
so they didn't have the tools to withstand
Right.
or hold that bridge up that they're standing on.
Right. Right.
So, Pastor said, uh, they could have gotten to a better place because couples do argue,
Right.
but it's the making up and going over challenge one challenge after another that builds the foundation.
Right.
But Alexis basically said nobody got time for that.
Right. And she didn't think that they were compatible. As far as he's concerned, they didn't stay long enough into it to be able to give it a
Right.
chance,
He
a
said
true chance.
they quit,
They quit. They were
which
quitters.
I think is unfortunate for him to use.
What as a are you talking about Pastor Cal think what Pastor Cal said? Is that
Yeah,
what you
I thought that was the unfortunate the way he said they quit. Do you know what I mean?
okay, okay.
I just thought it was
But do you think it
unfortunate.
was accurate?
Yeah, they did quit.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
quit you because you're getting on my nerves.
Yep. And she was tired. And from Alexis's point of view, I'm tired of hurting and tired of dealing with all of this. This having to lead and she even said characterized their relationship as mother
Mother,
child.
child, how are you gonna get with your mom romantically?
Was that Justin lost trust in Alexis, and the reason why was because of what he said,
He
the
wasn't
dog
truthful
situation,
about the
the
dog
dog
situation,
situation
and he
with Maya
resented
and
her,
Newton. Right,
and he thought that if he has to go any further, that's not gonna be what he is prepared to do right
right.
now.
Because Dr. Pepper said that basically what you said in terms of Alexis was the kind of person that needed an alpha male,
Yes,
and
sister
he
girl
was
needed someone to flip a dipper and do all that stuff, and they wish them well, but they also wish that they can get it together as well. I don't know how that works, but
And I don't
Hey.
know on what planet either. Come on, it's
The
just
man called the woman a compulsive liar.
liar,
Then
right?
she said she can't even remember whether they had sex or not. In
Right.
fact, we forgot this. She did say that they had sex. That she said they tried to do it, an adult things, it didn't work out. Then she put on some lingerie
Mm-hmm.
because she's a little bit too feisty for him. Another dig.
Feisty or spicy or
She got a whole lot going on, and the brother clearly couldn't handle the range. He was a little short. He, his dismount was not where it should be. So, you know what I'm talking about. This is a grown folk set. It was not where it should be, and the sister has had other situations where stuff went the way she wanted it to go, and if this dude is who she's married, she wanted to get some grit, some heft, and he clearly did not have that. And you know, woman always got to teach her man a way around her body. She didn't have time for that because he got to come in with some skill set, and it was not where it should be. So she decided that um, it's a wrap. And I'm not mad at the sister. So that's all we have. Thank you for liking, sharing, and
thank
subscribing.
thank God this season is over.